Hi and welcome back to part 2 of my video. Japan, vassal state or potentially military superpower? As we know, Japan is one of the richest countries in the world, one of the most technologically developed countries in the world. And the question is, can they protect themselves on their own? As we talked about it in part 1, Article 9 of Japanese constitution doesn't allow them to have army. However, they have Japanese self-defense forces. Japanese self-defense forces has around 250,000 active personnel spread across 3 branches and around 56,000 reserves. Japan spends around 1% of its GDP for its defense. If we compare to international average of 2% or NATO standard 3% of GDP, it doesn't seem like much. But if we remember that Japan is one of the richest countries in the world, it's a lot more than rest of the countries. Japan also has a big population of around 100 million people, but having a lot of people and money doesn't make you a superpower. To be considered military superpower, you need your own military industrial complex. Let's see what Japan has. Japan is third biggest car manufacturer in the world. It also in top in terms of high-tech production. For instance, Japan has a Type 10 tank model. They have Type 16 MCV model. Yes, doesn't seem like much, but important thing is that they have developed military products. Japan has famous Mitsubishi is producing military jets. Japan can produce its carriers. Technically, Japan is not allowed to have aircraft carriers, but they have helicopter carriers, Izumo class helicopter carriers, for instance. They have Soryu class submarines and Atago class destroyers. Despite having those capabilities, they don't produce much, as their constitution doesn't allow them to do so. So what can we conclude? Japan is capable to produce everything from jets, navy, rockets, tanks, high-tech equipment, by extent, drones, etc., etc. And bear in mind, they are one of the biggest industrial countries in the world. Civil industrial complex can easily be turned into military industrial complex. But nowadays, being able to produce tanks, submarines, airplanes, ships, etc., etc., is not enough, because Japan is surrounded by nuclear states. In the east, they have USA, which effectively occupies them for over 70 years. Up north, they have Russia. In the west, they have North Korea and China. Production of nuclear weapons takes decades, as we can see from Iran's example. But let's not forget that Japan has its civil nuclear program, and they are one of the biggest civil nuclear states. And experts estimate that within 6 months, Japan is able to enrich and produce nuclear weapons. Let's summarize. Japan, within a year, can have big nuclear arsenal equivalent to UK or France, equivalent to Israel. So what do we know? They can produce everything, but being able to produce modern equipment and modern weaponry is not enough. Troops need experience, and Japanese self-defense forces participate in UN peacekeeping missions. So Japan has battle-hardened troops. Now they call self-defense. Japan is the only country in the world that was bombed by nukes. Japanese still remember about it, and they don't want repetition of it. That's why they prefer to stay pacifist country, and their constitution forbids them from arming themselves. But once constitution is changed, one can only guess what they will do. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make your own conclusions on whether Japan is just a rich but weak country or a military superpower as sleep. Thanks. Bye.